Yeah. Last class, if you remember, we have covered small signal operation and models. In that, we discussed collector current and transconductance. That's the first topic in this subsection. Base current and input resistance that we need to discuss in today's class. Followed with this topic, we have emitter current and input resistance, and finally the expression for voltage gain that we will cover in today's class. Okay. All right. If you have any questions related to that, we can ask. Okay. So these are the topics that we have covered in the last class: the collector current and the transconductance. If you can recall, we have started with a circuit, which is a circuit that is a DC bias circuit, and later we derived expressions for both AC and DC quantities. You can see here the various expressions we have derived here, and this circuit what we have shown is now applicable for small signals. Okay, so the condition for small signal is this. If I assume this, VB very much less than VT, VT is 25 millivolt is the value, typical value, and if I apply input voltage at the base and emitter less than 25 millivolt, then this current expression becomes this. Okay, so after expanding this, we know that here we have an exponential term, and after expanding this and retaining first few terms, first and second term in the after expanding, we get this equation 4. Okay, this is the collector current expression for the transistor. Okay, and here as we said that VT must be less than 25, typical value is 25 millivolt, and if I assume that VB as 10 millivolt, the circuit can be called as small signal approximation. Later we have derived even other expressions for the collector current also in terms of transconductance. As you can see here, IC is equal to GM times VBE, where the GM, transconductance GM, is nothing but equivalent to the DC collector current by VT. Okay, so VT is called as a thermal voltage. Okay, so the value of the expression for VT is T by 11,600. This shown in the last class also. So this is the expression for VT is T, temperature, T by 11,600. Remove this. Okay, this temperature must be expressed in Kelvin. Okay, so T by 11,600. Okay, so this temperature in Kelvin, if you have temperature in Celsius, so that can be converted into Kelvin by just adding, this is T in degree Celsius. Okay, so that's how the thermal voltage depends upon. So it depends upon the temperature here. So this is going to be a constant here. So the input signal, if it is less than this VT, if at room temperature say 27 degrees Celsius, VT value is going to be around 25 millivolt. Okay, then we must apply the input signal which is very much less than that. So then circuit can be called as small signal approximation. Later we said that BJT transconductance is much higher value compared to the MOSFET transconductance. We are going to show even similar formula for MOSFET also, the transconductance formula. But here we should note this value. GM is for a typical BJT, it's 40 milliampere per volt. Notice the unit here, it's ampere per volt, that is the unit for transconductance here. Since current in BJT is going to be very small, it is in milliampere, so therefore this transconductance will be in terms of milliampere per volt. Even if you look at op amp, it's going to be in microampere per volt. Okay, so like that, transconductance for each and every device is a very important parameter. Next we have shown the graphical interpretation of the transconductance. So at Q point, operating point, so this is the device characteristics we have plotted for the BJT, a graph of VBE versus IC for the BJT. Then we have superimposed AC signal, as you are seeing at the bottom. This is an AC signal. Okay, so we have denoted that as VBE. Okay, so for this AC signal, the DC voltage, V capital V and B has been added, so that this AC signal from here, it has got lifted to the operating point, which is a Q point here. The reason why we need to add DC is because this other, if this DC voltage VBE, capital V capital B, if it is made 0, the signal will be oscillating at the origin. We may lose negative portion here. So we need to add a DC, so that we are bringing AC signal from the origin to the this active mode of operation here. So now we can see that AC signal is which is in the mid of this, the zero line, time line, what we are seeing here. It is exactly at the Q point here. That means the AC signal is oscillating at the operating point here. Okay, this is very important even to define transconductance here. Okay, so at this point, in the Q point here, okay, so the transconductance that we have defined, that shows that small change in VBE makes a big change in the current, because the transconductance relates output current and input voltage. Okay, so this is a voltage controlled current source. We are applying input as a voltage, and output we are getting as a current here. That's why this circuit can be called as VCCS behavior. The BJT behavior in here can be called as VCCS behavior. VCCS means voltage controlled current source. So since we apply input as a voltage signal, and output what we get here is a current signal here. Okay, so we can vary this, we can increase the strength of the current signal has been increased to a larger extent, because we are operating at the mid of the operating point, okay, in the device characteristics, and having any small signal applied in this Q point or in this active region, so the signal becomes very large in strength. Okay, so that is the principle of operation of the BJT, to use it as an amplifier. Okay, so this is called as linear operation of the transistor under the small signal condition here. The small signal means here VB cannot be very large, it must be very small, and it must be in the Q at the mid of this the active region. So signal will be the increased in value. Okay, so by the GM tells you the to what quantity signal will be increased. Okay, other definitions for GM also we have defined. GM is equal to IC by VBE. This is the output current, which is in this case it is the collector current, by the input voltage, which is VB. This is total collector current and total base emitter voltage, and this is measured at the DC collector current. Okay, so that's the definition for transconductance here. Okay, and as I had already told you that VB must be very much less than VT, so that the transistor is called a small signal is applied. Okay, this condition is met, then the transistor behaves as a for this particular condition, the transistor behaves like a voltage controlled current source. And this the whole circuit that we have shown here, the amplifier circuit, this can be modeled as just a block box, that is shown here. This is a block box. Since we assume that input is a small signal that is applied, and so input is applied between the base and emitter, okay, of the transistor's configuration. This is called as an input port, and output is measured between the collector and emitter, and where we measure the output, that's called as an output port here. Since we apply input signal as a small signal, the BJT here behaves as a voltage controlled current source, and since it is a voltage controlled current source, output is going to be the current and input is going to be the voltage. So that's how this GM relates. So GM controls the output current if input voltage is varied. Okay, so that's how the GM is measured here. And if you look at the resistance of this VCCS configuration, So that's ideal value of output resistance is it will be an infinite, but practically if you measure it will not be equal to infinity here. Okay, so this is the resistance measured across the output port of this VCCS configuration here. We should know under what conditions the BJT circuit behaves as a VCCS. The condition is input signal must be very small, or we can say that it should be a small signal operation. Small in the sense it should be less than 25 millivolt. We already said that this VBE that we are applying must be less than VT, right? And the VT typical value is this is 25 millivolt. So that's the condition here. So input must be less than 25 millivolt. So let us say that we are applying AC signal of 10 millivolt. Okay, small signal is applied. So that now this the transistor circuit here behaves like a voltage controlled current source. GM is the parameter which is a measurable parameter for this kind of circuit. So GM is nothing but gives you the what is the amount of amplified current signal for the input voltage base emitter voltage that is applied here. And for this type of circuit, if we measure the output resistance between these two terminal, that practical value is going to be very large but not small, but ideally speaking this will be an infinite value. Okay. So the reason we already said that ideally if you look at the transistor output characteristics, the curves are not going to be straight. If you can recall the transistor characteristics, output characteristics, okay, we expect curves for BJT to behave like this. This is the transistor output characteristics. Okay, just recall the electronic device course that we have studied in the previous semester. So this is VCE and IC. Okay, these lines, what I am trying to say here, if these lines are going to be straight, then the output resistance is going to be an infinity. But practically these lines are not going to be straight, so you will have some amount of slope. The curve for transistor output characteristics for a practical BJT, I will just show one of this curve here. It will be something like this. We will have a finite amount of slope like this. This is due to the early effect, when we extend this to the second quadrant, it will meet at some point here, right? Recall this is an early effect we said here. There is again VCE versus IC. Okay, since this curves, if you plot the BJT, for a practical BJT, the current curve with reference to the collector emitter voltage is not a straight line like this. This is an ideal conditions here. So now you can see if you extend this, the line, okay, these curves are going to meet at infinite. Okay, they are going to cross this negative x-axis at infinity here. So that is the this is ideal characteristics for in such cases, for a BJT you will have at output terminal the infinite resistance here. But for practical BJT, you will have a finite amount of slope like this. And now if we extend this, the envelope of this curve to the negative x-axis, at some point here it overlaps this this negative x-axis, and this we can say that we have a finite amount of current here, and there is a finite amount of collector emitter voltage change that gives us the resistance which is not an infinite value here. Okay, so this effect is called as early effect here. Okay, so this we have discussed in the earlier semester also. Okay, I look forward to go through those topics, to be familiar with this, an amplifier circuit. So that's what I want to convey here. Practical BJT of finite output resistance because of early effect here. This is called as an early effect here. Okay, usually we draw characteristics like this, but for practical BJT, the output characteristics resembles like this. Okay, next is we are moving to the next topic in the same main section, which is the base current and the input resistance at the base. Let us find out what is the base current for the BJT, and also estimate the input resistance at the base terminal of the BJT here. So these two things are very important because we are visualizing the BJT as an amplifier circuit. We are using BJT as an amplifier circuit. Then these currents like base current and measurement of input resistance plays an important role. So now let us try to obtain that. Later you will understand the significance of why we are measuring base current and why we need to calculate this input resistance at the base. All these things you will understand a little later. But for the time being, just follow the mathematical aspects and try to understand the concept behind that. Okay, to determine the resistance seen by VBE, VBE is nothing but an AC signal, as you are seeing here. Look at the notation here. When I say AC signal, we should think of it may be sine or cosine, anything it can be here. So this is an AC signal. So to determine the resistance of the BJT as seen by the AC signal, because when we apply, let us take up this circuit here. When we apply AC signal here to this amplifier circuit here, okay, now this circuit, what amount of resistance it sees, the AC signal sees between these two terminals here, because AC signal has to flow easily to the circuit and get amplified, and amplified signal should appear at the collector here. Now we are seeing here at these two terminals here, okay, so when the AC signal is applied, what is the resistance the AC signal faces? So that's what we are trying to interpret here. How to calculate that we will see here now. Okay, hope you understand the concept now. To determine the resistance seen by an AC signal that is applied at the input side of the amplifier, we first calculate the total base current. Let us now work out to find out what is the total base current. Later, once we know the base current, once we know base emitter voltage, then we can find out the input resistance here. Okay, this expression is already we are familiar. So from equation 5, let me show you the equation 5 where we have that. Look at this equation 5. This is a total collector current. We already shown this. This is a DC collector current, and here we have an AC collector current, capital IC by VT into VB. This is an AC collector current, total collector current here. I will take same expression to derive the base current expression here. So the same equation is considered here. This is referring to equation 5. Equation 5 is rewritten for your reference. Next we will see the base current here. So base current is nothing but IC by beta. This is a well known expression here. So beta is the gain in the common emitter mode. This equation can also be written in other way, like beta is equal to IC by IB. Okay, IC by IB. Okay, so or you can write IB, we want it here. So IB is equal to IC by beta. That is what we have written here. Now we have an expression for IC which we have taken from equation 5. You can substitute here for IC and see that what is the simplified equation for that. So wherever for first term you can divide by beta, and second term it gets divided by beta. That's what the change you see from this equation to this. So the next is once we expand this equation for the base current here, this can be approximated to the, since here there are two terms here, this is the first term and this is the second term, and this is the total base current here. So now we can denote this first term as the DC base current. So this is capital I, capital B. So this is the DC. This we are denoting like this. And second term you can observe here. There are no AC term in this case. That's why we denoted this as a DC base current here. You can look at here. This is IC is the DC collector current, and beta is the current gain in the common emitter mode. So that's why we have denoted this as DC base current here. So this is the total base current here. Okay, so which is same as this, right? Left hand side we have retained the same expression here, and look at the second term of this expanded base current here. There is a 1 by beta, IC by VT. All these are constants here. Okay, look at DC terms here. But look at this. So this gets multiplied with the AC signal here, VBE. So this is an AC signal here. So obviously this second term is an AC component here. So the AC component can be denoted as the small I with small b here. So this is an AC component here. Right here. So this is an AC component. So this is a DC component of base current, and this is the total base current. I hope you are getting this. How we have arrived at the total base current expression. Okay, this is the total base current expression. Okay, so total base current is now its sum of DC base current and AC base current. In an amplifier circuit, see, we will have both the components, AC component and the DC component here. So that's also, this is an AC component. The reason I already told you, because this term, the second term as an AC signal which is associated with this constant here. Okay, next we will move on to the other things here. So this IB, this capital IB, we are rewriting here the expressions, after we denote it with single DC term IB, as IB is equal to now IC by beta. The same thing is rewritten here, and this is second component here in this equation is also called as signal component, and which is nothing but an base current, AC base current here. So this is given by same 1 by beta IC by VT into VB. Okay. Now we know that the transconductance equation that we have derived is a GM is equal to IC by VT. That can be substituted here for this base current, AC base current equation. Since here we have IC here, this is the DC collector current, and here we can substitute that, and we can simplify for this. So what will be the IC by VT? This can be substituted as GM, so that this total term here. So the final expression for base current is GM by beta into VBE. Okay. Now here we are defining one important resistance which is used in BJT modeling. Okay, so with this, that's very important expression. I suggest to students to remember this expression here. So this is the base current AC base current expression, which is given by GM, transconductance by the current gain beta, into the AC signal, input AC signal that is applied. Okay, now let us define the input resistance now, or base resistance. The small signal input resistance between the base and emitter looking into the base is denoted as R pi. Look at here, this is a new term, R pi. What is R pi? How do we define R pi? R pi is the thing, but it is a small signal input resistance, because here we apply the signal which is of small in magnitude, and this is called small signal input resistance. Since it is an internal resistance, but we measured when looking into the inside the base and the emitter. That's why it is small signal input resistance between base and emitter, and this is measured by looking into the base. So this is, look at the arrow mark here, this is pointing towards the base. Since this resistance is an internal component here, all internal resistances are denoted with small letters like this, small r, and external resistances you have seen notations like to indicate that as capital R. You will come across that in future. So outside the device, any external physical resistor that we connect, we denote it as capital letters like this, R. Internal resistances, we denote it with small letters like this. And reason here we have given as R pi, because this we are using in the developing a pi model that we are going to discuss later, and that's why we have shown here with R pi. So pi means it is an input resistance. The model is called as a pi model. That's why this is an R pi resistance. So, and this we understood, what do we mean by R pi? R pi is nothing but it's a small signal resistance measured between the base and the emitter looking into the base. Okay, so that is the theoretical definition. From mathematical point of view, R pi is nothing but the AC base emitter voltage. This is VBE. Let me write it here. Here we have VBE, and the AC base current here, IB. The ratio of this VBE by IB gives you the R pi here. So this is the resistance, which is measured between the base and the emitter here. Okay. Now from equation 9, as you can see here, so this is the definition of R pi. Just remember this. Resistance means it is a voltage by current. It is a natural definition, VB by IB here. And even if you observe this equation 9, there is a VB on right hand side and there is an IB on the left hand side, right? Just we take the ratio VB by IB, what it gives you? It gives you equation 10, which is nothing but beta by GM. Okay, look at here, this goes to the left hand side, GM comes to the denominator, and we have R pi expression as beta by GM. So this is a definition, and this is the formula for R pi. So the resistance, small signal input resistance between base and emitter is now equivalent to the beta by GM. Now we can substitute for GM and we can develop other equations for this R pi. Okay, so let us proceed further now. So this is the basic formula for R pi, a resistance measured here, internal to the transistor, because you can see the small letter R. Okay. Physically I can show something like this also. So this is going to be a BJT. Okay. Something like this. So this is a base and here an emitter between this sequence. This is internal to the transistor. So this is an R pi. Okay, as per the definition. So AC base emitter voltage to the base current, AC base current here. So this is the formula for that. Once we substitute this formula for this has been derived from base current definition here. That's labeled as equation 10. Next we have alternative substitution. Just let us substitute for GM. GM we know that IC by VT. So this formula is IC by VT. So VT goes to numerator. So the formula becomes beta VT by IC. Okay. So now we can see that this beta can be sent to the denominator. VT is kept in the numerator. VT is retained here in the numerator. This IC, this beta comes back here. So this get divided, which is shown here. Now we know that IC by beta. What is that IC by beta? So which is nothing but base current here. So R pi is nothing but VT by IB. Look at this alternative expressions here. Students, please remember this, all these expressions. The final results, I suggest you to write down in the last page of your notes. Write down the section as the input resistance, and below that you can write these final results like definition, the formula for R pi, alternative version of R pi like this, VT by IB. So these are very important, in developing models, okay, BJT models here. Now this is the alternative formula. I can write it here once again below this. R pi, the small signal input resistance, is now equal to thermal voltage VT divided by base current IB. Okay, so look at this. This is one formula, this is another formula here. Observing this expression, what it tells us now. Okay, this entire equation, if you interpret, or equation 10, if you observe it, it shows that R pi directly depends on the beta. What is beta? Beta is the transistor gain, current gain in the common emitter configuration. And look at this IB, this beta also depends on collector current and the base current here. So now we can see that any variations in IB also changes the input resistance here. So this is directly proportional to the beta here. And also look at that, there is a collector current in the denominator here, right? So R pi is nothing but a small signal input resistance measured between base and emitter, depends on the DC collector current here. Look at this, this is a DC collector current. and it is inversely proportional to the DC collector current here. Okay, so that means any increase in the DC collector current obviously reduces our input resistance here, since it's inversely proportional to the DC collector current. So these are the two conclusions we can arrive from these derivations here. The first conclusion is R pi is a small signal resistance directly proportional to the current gain in the of the common emitter configuration, which is beta. R pi is inversely proportional to the DC collector current, which is IC here. So these are the two things which you must remember here. Any change in the DC collector current alters our input resistance, which is R pi. Any change in beta also changes the R pi here. So this is an important resistance which is measured between this base and emitter. Okay, so that this resistance should not vary too much here. Okay, so that must be fixed at some point here. All right, let's see that now. Later on we will see the application of this this R pi, but I suggest you to remember the definition, then related the formulas associated with this. Thus R pi is directly dependent on the beta and is inversely proportional to the bias current in the IC that we already said. The alternative expression for R pi is Vt by Ib. This is already we have shown here, Vt by Ib. You just remember these equations. This is labeled as equation 11. Okay, next we have another important resistance, which is emitter resistance, which we need to measure at the emitter. And following that, we have before to calculating the emitter resistance, we need to calculate the emitter current here. Okay, so let us see that similar procedure what I showed here, base current and input resistance at the base. Same procedure is followed even to find out the emitter current and the input resistance at the emitter here. Okay, the circuit remains same. Okay, the transistor which remains same, but now we are measuring the resistance as seen from the emitter here, like this. Okay, arrow mark is like this. Just write it here. As seen into the emitter. This is RE, another resistance we want to measure. R pi and RE, they are different, they are not same. We just now discussed about R pi. Now we are going to discuss another important internal resistance called as RE. Okay. Okay. Now let us see the how to derive that. First, let us derive the expression for the emitter current. Later, we can obtain the expression for the emitter resistance here. The total emitter current IE, which you can determine using this equation, which is IE. We know that total emitter current IB, which is equal to IC by alpha. Okay, so what is alpha? Anybody can recall? This is fundamentals of BJT. We have three current gains, if you can recall this: alpha, beta, and gamma, with reference to three transistor configurations. This is the current gain in common emitter. This is the current gain in common base. This is the current gain in common collector configuration. Beta value is very large. Alpha and gamma, they are going to be 1. That tends to be equivalent to unity. Okay, now alpha is a current gain measured in the common base configuration. We know that in common base configuration, output current is collector current, input current is the emitter current. So therefore alpha is the current gain. Okay, so alpha formula can be written like this: alpha, which is equal to current gain, which is IC by IE. This is the definition of alpha. Okay, so from this definition we can write IE as IC by alpha, and we know that the expression for IC now it is made up of two components. The two components are AC component and the DC component. So here we have a DC component here. It gets divided by IC, DC collector current, by alpha. Since here alpha is common for both AC and DC, and the AC component, which is AC collector current, by the alpha. Let us call this as equation 12. So this is an expression for the total emitter current, which has got both a DC collector current and AC collector current. This emitter current depends on the both. So together we can write the emitter current like this. total emitter current is now can be written as DC emitted current, okay, referring to this equation. This can be labeled as a DC emitted current, IC by alpha. So this is an AC current, collector current by alpha. So this can be referred as AC emitter current here. Let us call this as equation 32. Okay, where IC is equal to IE is equal to IC by alpha. This is what IE. This IE is now equivalent to IC by alpha, and IE, which is a signal component, because here we have an AC collector current, so that's equal to IC by alpha here. Now we can see, you can substitute, find out alternative expression for this, AC, which is emitter current here. We know that IC is equal to GM times VBE. Okay, this is the fundamentals of the collector current. We have already discussed about this, and also we have GM as IC by VT. So now we can write IC as we can substitute here for GM here in place of this. Okay, so the total collector current now becomes this IC by VT times VBE. Now look at here, from equation 14 what we have is, okay, IE is equal to IC by alpha. Okay, so this can be written as IE can be written as now IC by alpha. If you can divide this with alpha, okay, so we get the final expression for the emitter current, which is IC by alpha times VBE by VT. So this IC by alpha can be denoted as this IE. You can see here, this is IE. So the final expression for emitter current is now IE is equal to IE by VT. Okay, this is denoted as IE by VT into VB is kept as it is. So this is the final expression for the emitter current. So emitter current expression here. Okay, so let us label this as equation 15. If we denote the small signal resistance between the base and emitter looking into the emitter as RE, similar to R pi, here we have an RE. Look at the way we measure RE. So here, by looking into the emitter side, and this RE is measured between base and emitter only. Earlier R pi we are seeing from the into the base, but while measuring RE we are seeing from the emitter side. Same resistance is here. It all depends on which side you observe it. When we see from this side, the resistance can be called as R pi. When we see from observe from the emitter side, the arrow mark is saying that observe from emitter side. Okay, so the resistance is denoted as RE. Again, this is an internal resistance, therefore we denote it with small r, small e. Okay. Now again, let us go through the definition here. We have defined here what is RE. Then from mathematical point of view, RE can be written as base emitter voltage VBE, AC base emitter voltage, by AC emitter current here. This is the definition of RE. Okay. Mathematically, we can write this RE as this. Now we can substitute. Okay, so the emitter resistance value, alternative expressions we can find out from this. Look at here, from equation 15, if you observe it here, there is a VBE here, which is also here, and there is an IE here, which is also in the denominator. So final expression from this 15 we can arrive as RE, which is equal to VT by IE. So this is VT by IE here. So this is the first formula for emitter resistance, which is measured looking into the emitter here. Other alternative expressions also can be derived similar to the expressions we have derived for R pi. So here also we can compare, IM is equal to GM is equal to IC by VT, and we can write the expressions for this RE. So RE can be written as so in place of VT here we can write IC by GM. You can see here we have written here IC by GM, and this 1 by IE is kept as it is here. Okay, so now we can see that this IC by GM can be called as this IC by IE. This can be called as alpha. So this IC by IE can be called as alpha. Therefore, RE becomes alpha by GM. Alpha by GM. Since alpha tends to unity, alpha is a very small value, since it tends to unity. So final expression for RE is 1 by Gm. This is also very important in approximation. RE is approximately equal to 1 by Gm. Okay, 1 by transconductance. So having derived the formulas for R pi and RE, now let us find out what is the relationship between R pi and RE. Okay, so that we can do it here. The relationship between R pi and RE can be found by combining these expressions. We know that R pi, which is measured between VBE and IB, that can be written as beta by Gm. These are the alternative expressions we have derived already. And this can also be written as Vt by Ib. Look at this expression here, beta by Gm and what we have shown here. Look at here, the same expression I am showing here. Beta by Gm, that is R pi, and Vt by Ib, that is also an R pi, and according to definition R pi is Vb by Ib here. So same equations I am rewriting it here to show the relationship between R pi and Rb. Now let us write same formula for Re. Re just now we have derived here. Definition wise it is Vb by Ib. Alpha by Gm, just you can see here, Re can be written as equivalent to alpha by Gm, and which is also equivalent to Vt by Ib, and you can see Vt by Ib. Okay, now from 17, equation 17, this is called as equation 17, this equation. Okay, now from equation 17, R pi can be written as, this is a definition, Vb by Ib. Okay, or Vbe can be written as R pi into Ib, just by cross multiplying this. That is called as equation 19. And from 18, equation 18, this is an equation 18. Okay, so definition wise Re is equal to Vb by Ie. We have taken this definition. Vb can be written as Re times Ie. You can see here, this is just by cross multiplying this. Vb is equal to Re times Ie. Now you can see here, now Vb is quite common here for both equation 19 and equation 20. So therefore Vbe is equal to now, okay, R pi into Ib, this is R pi into Ib. Now we can equate that to Re into Ie, Re into Ie. Look at this. Okay, so since in left hand side Vb is common from equation 19 and 20, we can also equate the right hand side. Okay, now we can derive what other relations here. We want just R pi. If I retain here R pi on the left hand side and send this Ib to the other side, so you will get it as Ie by Ib, which you can see here, Ie by Ib multiplied with Re. Now this gives us the relationship between R pi and Re. Look at here, R pi and Re, they are related by this expression here. Okay, there is a multiplication factor here, which is Ie by Ib here, that in turn gets multiplied with R here. Okay. This R pi also can be written as 1 plus beta times Re. Okay, 1 plus beta times which is Re here. Okay, so just you multiply with this, you will get this expression can be obtained here. Later stage you can derive this here, but you know here we are shortly denoting this. R pi can also be is also equivalent to this 1 plus beta times Re here, or simply we can write this beta times Re. Okay, adding 1 doesn't make any big difference here. Okay, because this is you can see Ie by Ib, what is that expression, which can be written as beta, right? Beta, which is equal to Ic by Ib. This also can be written as Ie by Ib. So that gives me beta times Re, or 1 plus beta times Re also we can write it like that, because Ie and Ic, they are going to be a small difference we have in that. To overcome that, we can add 1 plus beta times Re. Any questions about this? So far we have derived an input resistance, small signal input resistance between base and emitter, looking at the base, and next we have derived the expression small signal input resistance looking into the emitter side, which we have called as Re. Okay, now here we have a problem here. I expect the students to work out this problem. Okay, and by the time I take attendance, just arrive at the solution. Okay, everybody should have a long notebook with you and copy this problem. a BJT having beta is 100 is biased at a DC collector current of 1 milliampere. Find the value of GM, RE or pi. Just work out this. Okay. At the end of the class, I look forward to obtain solution from all of you. Okay. Here two things are given here. Beta is given 1 milliampere of the DC collector current is given, and we expect what is the value of GM, RE and R pi. Just find out this value. Okay. Next, lastly, we have voltage gain expression here. I will end up today's class by deriving the expression for the voltage gain. Voltage gain is very important for an amplifier. Just like we derived equation for Re and R pi, which is an input resistance for the amplifier. But now this voltage gain is also an important here. This tells us that to what extent, to what magnitude the amplifier signal strength is amplifying. Okay. The transistor senses the base emitter voltage signal, which is VBE. This is the signal we are applying at the base and emitter of a amplifier circuit, and this causes a current which is proportional to the collector current, which is proportional to the GM times VBE here. So this is a signal which we apply at the input here, and this is the transistor behavior. This multiplies with this GM, and this current, output current, is proportional to the input voltage here, and this current is flowing in the collector here. This is a collector current expression. IC is equal to GM times VBE. Okay, this flows in the collector, that lead to a high impedance level here. Now BJT, as we said already, when the small signal is applied, it behaves like a voltage controlled current source. Okay, now let us define what is the expression for the voltage gain here. The total collector voltage VC, look at here, this is a part of the amplifier circuit I have written here. Okay, voltage at this point here at the collector, which is measured with reference to ground here. Okay, that is denoted as VC here. What is the expression for this? We can apply KVL like this, and we can write the expression for this. Shortly we can write this as VC is equal to VCC minus IC times RC. This is IC times RC. This is the expression we get it here. Clear? This is the terminal voltage at the collector with reference to ground here. Now we can expand this here. So now substitute this, since collector current, which is proportional to the input base emitter voltage, has got two components, AC component and the DC component. This term we will retain as it is, VCC minus, this is now splitted into the DC and AC component here. So this is a DC component and this is an AC component here. Okay, now further you can see that we are just rearranging these terms here. So we have taken this DC term to this DC voltage. Okay, so after multiplying this with RC, first you multiply this each current with the resistance RC, and then group the DC terms and AC terms separately. So you can see here the bracket, within the bracket I have separated out a DC term. This is a DC term. Okay, because this is a DC voltage and this is a DC voltage drop occurring across this. This current here is made up of two components here, AC component and the DC component here. So DC component we have segregated, and this is an AC component. So this is an AC component. Okay, so now we can arrive at simplified expression for this. This left hand side we have kept VC, and this complete term can be denoted as DC collector voltage VC minus this ICRC is kept as it is here. Okay, so this ICRC is retained as it is. Alright, let us label this as equation 21. So equation 21 is nothing but it is the expression for the voltage, collector voltage, okay, with reference to ground here. The quantity VC is the DC bias voltage at the collector, and the signal voltage is given by, this is the signal voltage which is ICRC. If we write the signal voltage as this, if we denote this as small v and small c, this is what we have written here. Do not get confused with this. This is capital C. Okay, this is total collector current, collector voltage. Okay, which is measured here. And here this is an AC component here. That's why we have small c, small c, small v, small c. So that is equivalent to minus IC times. The second term we have retained as it is, minus IC times RC. Now what is IC? this IC. So IC is nothing but which is a GM times VB. IC is nothing but this is an IC expression which is GM times VB. Negative sign can be retained as it is RC. And now you can see further if you simplify here, okay, so this can be written as VC is equal to minus GM times VBE into RC. Negative sign indicates here the output signal or this voltage is 180 out of phase with respect to the input base emitter voltage. That's what negative sign shows here. Now let us define the voltage gain of an amplifier. By definition, voltage gain of an amplifier is VC, which is the voltage at the collector, by a base emitter voltage, input base emitter voltage. Now you can see here we have an VC term here, AC collector voltage, and there is an AC base emitter voltage. This by this ratio gives you the voltage gain, which is equivalent to minus GM times RC. This is very important expression. Okay, for amplifier voltage gain is minus GM times RC. So GM is the transconductance and RC is the collector resistance here. So the voltage gain of an voltage amplifier mainly depends on these two components here. Now we know that this GM factor is associated with other parameters as well. One of that is GM transconductance is proportional to the DC collector current here. So as when I say that this transconductance is proportional to DC collector current here, this collector current has to be maintained constant. We have seen several bias circuits here, how this collector current varies, with reference to different transistor parameters. We have seen that until unless if we don't maintain this DC collector current stable, this transconductance also will not remain as stable. Because of this, GM is, we have written here, is proportional to the DC collector current here. So this is what it is written here, DC bias current, and is stable as collector bias current is made stable. And now we can substitute for GM here. What is GM expression? We already know GM expression, which is IC by VT here. So we are substituting here for GM as IC by VT, and this is the final expression for the voltage gain of amplifier, voltage amplifier. With that, I will stop here, and any questions if you have, I would like to take the questions and answer your queries. Any questions or any doubts are there? So three things we have discussed in today's class. Okay, three things are: one, we have discussed derivation of R pi, and next we have derived what is RE, and finally we have derived an expression for a voltage gain, which is AB. So go through these expressions, practice these expressions, try to understand how we arrive at final expression for R pi, RE and AB, and also list out the formulas, different versions of this formulas of this for this R pi, RE and AB. That's very important in solving the problems here. Okay. With that, I will end up today's class. Okay. Thank you all for attending the class, and next